You guys are about to get my experience with Apple over the last 18 months. No more, no less. In short, it's not good. And if you've had a similar experience, share this video, comment below, let's make our voices heard. Is this thing on? Can you guys hear me? Are you guys out there? Are you listening? Pay attention. This is important. I keep getting asked the same question. I think it's on. I used to love Apple. I've always been a PC guy. But in the past, I could always recognize the design, quality, and reliability of Apple products and that entire ecosystem and understand why the price tag was, well, justifiable. But now, not so much. The iPads and the iPhones have been great until the iPhone X. Upon 2 weeks of receiving it, the phone started to freeze and crash quite frequently, so I took it into the Genius Bar. Not a big deal. The Genius Bar looked at it, they said the logic board is failing, here's a new one. Great, fantastic. I love that Apple has the Genius Bar. It's an amazing service. Other than the fact that you have to schedule it and wait 4 weeks because it's always booked up. But that's not a biggie. We're gonna move on because this experience started in 2017 when I purchased a new MacBook Pro. This was my first foray into the Apple ecosystem in a big way, actually switching over my entire workflow into iOS. This thing cost $5,000 with AppleCare. I mean, that is expensive. That's like propose to your girlfriend expensive. That's like put a down payment on a home expensive.
No.
With that price tag, I expected something that performed well, I expected that design, and most importantly, I expected quality and reliability. Then I got the machine. All was great until 1 week in, the mouse started to stutter and freeze, as you can see in this video. Later, depending on which USB-C port you plugged the device into, the machine wouldn't start up. Shortly after, it started freezing and crashing, and I made my appointment again to go into the Genius Bar. But at that point, it's really not a big deal. I'm thinking I just got a lemon, they'll replace it. And sure enough, the Genius Bar confirmed that it was the logic board that was failing and it needed to be replaced. A couple days later, the machine was fixed and back in my hands, and I was impressed with Apple's service and speed. Until shortly after receiving it back, and we're talking within just a matter of days, the graphics card appeared to be failing with a flickering screen. So back in it goes, and once again the Genius Bar, again after setting up my appointment and everything, confirmed that the logic board was indeed failing again. They fixed the machine, had it back to me, and again I thought all was well until the first time I shut down the machine. The first time I shut down the machine, from the third time that I got this unit back, I got this pixelated screen. Outside of that shutdown screen, the machine worked fine, and I thought, I can't keep taking these things in, I need to use it for work, so I did. Now we're gonna move to the iMac Pro because in January 2018, I decided to grab the iMac Pro. This thing was fully spec'd out, costing around $7,000. And now if my MacBook needed repair, I could take it in while I worked on my iMac Pro. Once again, I paid that money for a desktop that I expected to be reliable, if nothing else, just reliable. My issue started similarly with the load up screen on the iMac Pro, as the mouse would stutter and when you type it would seem to freeze. But usually once you logged in, everything seemed fine. This is when I reached out to Apple support online and I started telling them about my experience, and honestly they were wonderful at the beginning. Support responded back and they assigned me an Apple case person that would be with me to resolve all of these issues that I've been having. She ran some analytics and system diagnostics on the iMac Pro and said she'd be back to me within a week. Then she disappeared from off the face of the earth. I literally have not heard from this person again, and as you can see in this chain of emails, she didn't respond for a period of over 2 months, and I still never got a response from her. I just took it to somebody else. So I made an appointment at the South Coast Plaza Genius Bar to take my iMac Pro in and also to explain this experience to a manager. I'm not the kind of person that's gonna get upset and start ranting and raving about this terrible experience they've had. I simply relayed, it's been a very difficult transition. The manager apologized and said that they would be escalating this issue. That never happens. They took it in, and about a week later, I got a phone call saying I could pick it up and that it was just a software issue. It seems odd to have a software issue that would cause graphical glitches, but I said okay. A day later, they called back and they said, you know what, don't come pick it up yet because, well, the logic board is actually failing. Okay, No surprise there. They respond, we have to send this into Cupertino to get it fixed. They want to run diagnostics. They want to see what's going on, and we're going to have this back to you, but we're going to get it done quick. I don't know if you guys know what it's like. Well, you guys probably do, but I don't think Apple knows what it's like to be out of commission from your desktop for 3 weeks looking for substitutes while they're working on your machine. Anyway, I get it back. There's a admin account now on the machine that I can't even log into because the South Coast Plaza Apple Store didn't give me the password to this account. This isn't how you'd expect to get serviced from a company that you've now spent, well, over 10 grand on 2 computers with. Now, in the meantime, I'm taking Xanax to deal with anxiety from having to take these 2 machines into live productions because we have audiences online on SR Lounge, on YouTube, as well as on Premium who are waiting for live content. And I'm using machines that could potentially fail at any moment. So while you guys might not have noticed, but I was having several internal heart attacks during each of these live broadcasts. I think I hit him well. So at this point, nobody reached out to me. I called Apple support and I said, I need to tell somebody about this experience. The person on the phone heard a little bit and they said, let me get you to an advanced problem solver. I don't know. Let me get you to someone and escalate this issue so you can speak to someone that's a little more authoritative. I spoke to somebody and told them my experience and she apologized. And she said, what can I do for you guys? I'm like, I honestly don't know. I really just would like replacement laptops when these things are going out. I understand that this kind of stuff does happen, not nearly to this frequency. Now, she did explain that I could get Apple Business Support for $500 a year, and they would give me a loaner machine anytime my machines had issues. I explained to her that that seemed odd, considering that I've had to take in my MacBook Pro 3 times already. I'm on my 3rd machine and it's still having issues. And now my iMac Pro, machines that I've spent so much on, it seems like that should be something that you give comped to this experience, at least for a year or something. Do something. No. She offered me the HomePod. It actually is a good speaker, but it is just a glorified speaker. She can't even play Spotify. What can't play Spotify? I mean, like, Alexa plays it, Google, like. Anyway, it was a nice gesture and I said, okay, thank you. They sent me the HomePod, I got it, I set it up, and sure enough, you can only use it basically as a Bluetooth speaker unless you buy into even more of the Apple ecosystem. I'm not about to do that. I've already done enough stupid mistakes on this. I will say that was a nice gesture, although I'll bet they have like thousands of these. We gotta get rid of this shiz. This is where I wish this video stops, but it doesn't. Because in 2018, a family member decided they wanted a new MacBook Pro, and I said, you know what, why don't you take this one? I'll just go ahead and grab the new one. So I got a new 2018 MacBook Pro with AppleCare, and
let me guess, it broke.
Yeah, how did you guess? Within a couple weeks, the keyboard started failing. You press the E key or other keys and either doesn't respond or it types in 2 characters. And shortly after, more freezing, more stuttering issues. And I used it basically up to the point where I couldn't use it anymore. Literally, you can't type an email without having 50 misspellings or issues in that email that have to be fixed. I took it back to the Genius Bar. This time I went to the Spectrum Apple because who knows? Spectrum Apple might be better at this stuff than South Coast Apple, right? Hell no. I actually reached out to a manager before going. They were very nice and she listened to my issues. She even read the article that I posted up on SR Lounge and I said, look, at least understand the experience that I've had thus far. I just want to be understood at this point. I don't want anything other than just to be understood. She supposedly read it. I don't know if that actually happened, but supposedly it was read. The person helping me hears about the experience and they're kind of consoling me and saying that this is very unusual and they take it back. And sure enough, in the store, he confirms that the Logic board is failing on the 2018 MacBook Pro that I've had for a couple months. He takes it in and he says, you know what, we're gonna get this back to you ASAP. This has been a crazy thing, you know, like I can't believe you dealt with all this stuff. And I say thank you and I leave the store thinking that they understand, but no. Because I didn't get that laptop back for another 3 weeks. I heard nothing. I actually had to reach out to the store and say, what's going on? They tell me that they still need more time. Finally, I get the machine back and I reach out to the store manager, the same person I've been in touch with, and I say, look at this experience. Help me understand why I should stay with Apple. She says, the best thing I can do is get you that business membership. You'll need to pay $500 for it per year. But I can get you a replacement machine or a loaner machine when yours goes out. But the best you can do is literally what you do for everybody that didn't have this experience. That doesn't make sense, does it? Some of you online have said, oh my goodness, you are the most unlucky person in the world, and to that I would probably agree when it comes to electronics. Some of you have said that it's the power supply that's causing these issues. There's something going on in the sockets you're plugging it into. But it's not. Because these machines were used in my home, in my office, in places where other machines have worked fine and continue to work fine. The bottom line is these machines were used in different places throughout the studio, throughout the home, and always protected with a UPS. There is no justification on that side. But I do have one reason of my own. Apple today is not what they were 5 years ago. It's something that I hope that they turn around, but I don't know if they will. You can see it simply in the product lineup itself. There are numbers of product lines, each of which are being updated constantly, and quality control is not where it used to be. But maybe this is just my experience, and at that, a very unlucky one. I mean, it's not like Apple has class action lawsuits going on or anything.
Oh, yes, there is.
I mean, every company has those, but it's not like they have multiple class action lawsuits going on about product quality.
There is.
I mean, that's normal, but it's not like they have multiple class action lawsuits that are going on across various product lines for built-in defects and quality control.
Bruh, there is.
Oh, really? Look, I loved what Apple once was, and I greatly hope that they can turn things around, getting back to designing and creating high-quality electronics and hardware. But for me, until that happens, I'll be done purchasing Apple products. I hope you guys have enjoyed this video. Please give us a thumbs up, like, subscribe, click the notifications. You know the drill. My name is Pi. I'll see you guys in the next video.